to go live. I feel like every time it's preparing to go live, I'm actually going live. So I'm just trying to keep the energy
Yeah,
up
it says it's being
and
live
do this.
streamed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and there we
Is
go.
this on YouTube or Facebook?
This is on YouTube. So, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Another week, another live stream from your friends at Zero Dark Nerdy, the galaxy's most okayest pop culture podcast and entertainment website. Brought to you by our good friends over at Zibster. That is ZIBSTER.com for all your website needs. They're responsible for our incredibly beautiful looking website. Of course, our friends over at Golden Ticket Cinemas right here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Be sure to check them out. It's the old Brassfield Cinemas. They've brought this beautiful movie theater back to life. We went to go see Beetlejuice there a couple weeks ago. Check out that live stream. So, there's going to be more to come. I think this upcoming weekend, we're either going to see The Wild Robot or Transformers 1, depending on if we want to laugh or cry. I heard great things about both. So, not cry in
Hmm.
a bad way, cry in a good way. Again, Golden Ticket Cinemas. As always, our main sponsor, Sailfish Comics. 3 locations here in North Carolina, one in Concord, one in Winston-Salem, and one right here in Greensboro, right across the street from Best Buy for all your graphic book, comic book, and action figure needs. We do have a brand new trivia coming out this week for those of you watching, and this episode will air this week for our audio platform. I apologize. We're not doing as many podcasts out there. We're doing a lot more live streams. It makes my life a little bit easier when it comes to editing. But we're going to try to get back to doing at least 2 audio podcast episodes a month. But, we're going to follow that up with weekly live streams. So, again, big shout out to our friends over at Red Oak in Whitsett, North Carolina, right before you get to Burlington if you're coming from Greensboro. So we're going to kick it off this Thursday at 6:30. The teams that come in first place get a tour of the venue, which is nice, which also comes with some free beverages. Can't say if they're alcoholic or not because I don't want anyone to get in trouble. So do that with you as you may. Before we get into this episode, a lot of you may know this, a lot of you may not. We are a North Carolina based podcast. I've been here for 28 years and it's home. At this point, even though I was born in Puerto Rico, grew up in upstate New York, spent 2 years in Michigan, the last 28 years we've been here in North Carolina, and it's brought us a lot of great things, including my beautiful daughter, Jordan, who's a big part of the podcast and joining us right now. Western North Carolina, we're in central North Carolina. Western North Carolina, pretty much Asheville and all surrounding communities around there were devastated by Hurricane Helene. So reach out to us. Anything that we can do to help. We're still kind of doing our homework on which benefits that we want to participate with. We are getting information on a lot of people that are accepting canned food, clothes, jackets, all kinds of stuff. If you see the videos, the devastation it's unreal. There are entire
Yeah.
towns that have been wiped out, and our prayers and thoughts go out to the families out there and everything else. So, if you are a part of an organization that's doing something about it, please feel free to reach out to us. The email is zdnpodcast@gmail.com, or if you go to our website, popculturepodcast.com, go to the contact us form. It goes directly to me, and we're going to do everything we can to help our neighbors here in Western North Carolina. Tila, a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, she has family out there. We were very concerned and worried. Cell phone towers were knocked down. A lot of people weren't being able to communicate with friends and family for days. Fortunately, she had good news, which is great, obviously. So, but still prayers going out there to, those that did not receive great news. So don't want to start this episode on a bad note, but at the same time, we want to make sure it's known, especially to our fans, not just here in North Carolina, but obviously across the U.S. and around the world. We all go through stuff, and natural disasters are unfortunately part of the territory, and this one has been, the worst one in a long time, especially. Normally it's the coast that gets hit, but, for Western Carolina, it's been absolutely terrible. So to get back to it, this is your boy Brian, aka El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Jordan. We forgot to do the poll to vote on my nickname, so for now I'm still just Jordan is my nickname.
Jordan, aka Jordan, and we have to do
Yeah,
a poll so we can get her an AKA. So any
yes,
ideas you have for a nickname, please be sure to let us know. So my daughter and I were talking. The brand new trailer for The Last of Us season 2 came out last week, and she reached out to me and said, "Dad, we got to do a video game episode." Which we do those few and far between. We don't do them often enough, unfortunately. Something we definitely want to get back to. So she's really going to be leading this conversation, but we know we're going to start off with, kind of first reactions on The Last of Us Part 2 and then go into, some of our favorite games, gaming consoles, horror games, things like
yeah,
that. So, Jordan, I'm kicking off to you.
yeah. Well, I guess yeah. Let's start with like first reactions to the Last of Us season 2 trailer. Just wow, it's
Yeah,
gonna be it's gonna be a ride. And I thought beforehand that I knew maybe what the game plan would be. I don't know maybe if it's been said or not that they would like do half of the game two in one season and maybe do another half. I think so because
yeah.
they already confirmed a season three, right?
I think so. And to me, I think it would be for them to finish this in just 2 seasons.
It
And
would be a lot
it has been,
in one
a
season.
limited series. I thought they did a good job finishing up really the first game
Yeah,
in
they
season
did.
one. But yeah, and you've played, we'll get to that in a little bit. You've played and finished Last of Us Part 2. So
Hmm.
based on the trailers, what are your thoughts? And yes, I believe it has been confirmed for season 3.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna, maybe cover half the season or something. They're not gonna do a whole or put game two all in one season because it would be a lot. There's a lot more going on in The Last of Us Part Two than there is in the first game, as far as like they introduce way more characters, way more, subplots, like conflict that Ellie's having to face is not just uh like zombies anymore to get to the hospital. It's like
Right.
there's a cult group called the Seraphites, and we got to see a little bit of the Seraphites in the trailer. Um,
Is that the
they're like a
believe in her sign?
yeah,
Okay.
yes, that there's like a cult that you're fighting throughout the game, and
Okay.
then you get to see the main villain of or villain, it's very debatable, of
Yeah, I feel like there's
the
going to be multiple villains.
the second game, Abby. You get to see her for the first time.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't. Should I not say spoil game
Yeah,
two
because
stuff?
because it's a trailer, let's not spoil the game.
Okay.
So yeah, so let's just try to
Okay.
keep it just
So
just
I'll just
general
say that.
reactions on the trailer.
Yeah. Um, so you get to see Abby for the first time, other main characters in the story, Dina, who ends up being one of that's it's not really a huge Ellie's love interest. I mean, you'll learn that very soon.
Hmm.
And then there's Jesse, is another like partner in crime, and then you get to see like Tommy and Joel again. And only not game accurate character I've seen so far, or just not game accurate, but like a character that's not in the game is Catherine O'Hara. That's like seems to be like Joel's therapist or something. I don't know if
She
maybe it's
seems
in
to
his
be like the
mind.
town psychiatrist.
Yeah, so that's not in the game, but I think, it's gonna add a whole other dimension and like probably heartbreaking element to like Joel's backstory and all that.
Yeah.
And I guess if we're not spoiling anything, I can't, there's something really big I can't say. So it's just gonna be, it's gonna be another emotional, I think it's gonna be a way more ramped up ride too, just because, like I said, there's so much more going on in the second game. Like Ellie's going through hell,
Yeah.
like all forms and shapes of hell.
Mm.
Um, just like it's just a whole other level, and I can kind of see that in this trailer. So I'm excited. Yeah,
Emotional
yeah,
damage.
yeah. So that's coming. So be prepared.
Yeah. So I've been saving that little sound bite for a minute. I'm excited for it, and it's funny because my wife and I actually watched the trailer again. I probably watched the trailer at least 20 times since it came out, like I do most awesome trailers. And of course, HBO
Yeah,
doesn't let us down with
right.
trailers. And she was like, and I told my daughter this, and I told Ashley this because I have The Last of Us too, and I'm like, I'm trying to hold out and not play it. And she
You should
goes,
play it.
"Can you just play it?" So I'm going
Please do
to,
it.
because I
Yes.
still, even though I didn't finish The Last of Us 1, I got all the way to
Yeah, you
the
yeah,
town
you
with
did.
all the booby traps and stuff. No, no. By the time the show came out, I wasn't done yet.
Oh, I thought you meant in general you didn't finish the game.
Yeah, no, no, no. I finished it after the show
Yeah.
came out, but I
Yeah.
got halfway through. So no, I
Okay.
can't. I can't wait. Now I have to play it. So I'm
I
excited because you
mean,
have already played it, and then you can help me out.
it's good. It's a longer, I believe it's a longer game, or it sure does
Yeah.
feel like it. But
Well, before I
the
get into it, I do want to go back and play The Last of Us 1, the side missions that I didn't get to do.
the
So
side missions, okay.
on the remastered version, there's like the mall
Oh,
and all that
oh,
stuff.
with Riley and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
honestly, I never played that, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
do
it's
want to do
just
that.
that
Plus,
mall part with Riley.
exactly. Plus, I need to honestly refresh myself on like the buttons and what everything does.
Yeah,
It's not
it's a
like
learning
riding a bike
curve.
anymore. It's a lot. It's not like Mario Brothers where there's two buttons and then you just, there's a lot to remember with video games. That's for sure. But yeah, first thoughts on the trailer, absolutely outstanding. It's a slow start, slow burn, and I mean it's like a roller coaster. It's just going up, 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 and then you see certain elements. You see the like swarm coming to attack Colorado, which looks amazing. And again, like I haven't played part two, so I can't. To me, I'm not trying to see the differences because I do appreciate HBO for what they do, and a lot of what they've done in season one is showcased more of the side story on some of the stuff that we didn't get in the video games.
Right.
So I'm not going to go into it like, oh my gosh, this isn't in the game. This isn't a game. Now, granted, my only gripe was the town where Ron Swanson was, his character.
Yeah.
I wanted
Bill.
more
Uh,
Bill's town. I wanted more of the booby traps and some more of
Everybody
that
did.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was a really, really nice, just side
One of
story,
the
plain and simple.
It was one of the best episodes in TV history, is
Yeah,
what happened. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it sucks we didn't get to
yeah.
see like
Just the
more of
character
Bill's
arc
town,
and
but
everything. Right. It was, yeah. Again, just one of those episodes that's
Emotional damage.
so.
very.
On top of that, too, HBO does a great job, and I don't know if they have these actors on retainer or if they have them sign contracts, but Jeffrey Wright is back and I don't know
Mm,
this character Isaac, but Jeffrey Wright is such a great actor. So let's go ahead. This is going to be a clip for us right here. This is a Jeffrey Wright appreciation
yeah.
clip. I mean, I first got introduced to him when he came into Boardwalk Empire for seasons 4 and 5 as Dr. Narcisse, as one of the um, antagonists of both seasons, and he was just great. Then they brought him back as Bernard Lowe in Westworld, which was a phenomenal show. I never ended up
Hmm.
finishing it. I was two seasons in, and it was just one of those things. So much TV that was out at the time. I still need to get caught up. And then recently, you and I just watched him in American Fiction, and of course, he plays the
Oh
overseer
my
as the
God,
voice.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
he's
great
the
movie.
voice of
Sidebar.
the overseer. Oh, of course, in the What If Marvel series as well.
Hmm.
So he is just a force. So Jeffrey Wright, we love you.
And
Like
he's
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 he's in like 2 seconds of a scene, and in that scene, I'm like
yeah,
petrified. So
yeah.
I don't know his
Yeah.
character in the game, but I have a feeling that he's going to play that character to a T.
Yeah. I mean, well, he's reprising his role as Isaac. He played
Oh, so
Isaac
he
in
was
the
the
game.
voice in the game. I
Yeah.
did not know that. Oh, wow.
So he'll
Okay.
be reprising Isaac, and for some reason I can't remember a ton about his character. I just had to look up and like remember what he did.
Hmm.
But I don't think he's like a super menacing guy until like something happens in the
Sure.
story, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
He
it's
gi- he
way
gives
deep
this he
in the
gives
plot.
this
Like,
one look. It's just
uh,
like someone's gonna die.
yeah,
So
I don't. They might dig into that part of the character and make him more like evil or
right,
menacing than he was in the game, which
right,
oh, but I just might not be remembering it clearly, but
yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
excited. I'm excited to be playing it. So that way, when you're in town this weekend, hopefully I'm a little bit through it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I mean, they did not miss on season one. Season two, I think, is going to be incredible. I mean, Pedro Pascal, he's been a worker. A lot of people think that this stuff happens
Hmm.
overnight. This guy was in everything from, I think he was in like Buffy the Vampire Slayer as like a werewolf,
Yeah,
and then he had his breakout role in Game of Thrones, and then but obviously there was tons more roles that he went through, and now he's all over the place. And you know what? Some people may complain about that, but at the end of the day, that's well deserved. So,
yeah,
you work your butt off to hopefully not have to audition anymore and get the jobs that you want to get. And I don't mind seeing someone that's a good actor all over the place. It's not like he's a terrible actor.
right.
So, I can't wait for Fantastic Four next year. So he's going to have another
Gladiator,
Gladiators coming out
the
soon.
wild robot, the wild robot.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
in that too?
yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
I think he's the voice of the fox, maybe.
There we go.
And Lupita Nyong'o is the. I'm sorry for not saying that
Yeah,
right,
she's
but
the
she's the
robot.
robot.
Yeah, it's great. I'm just one of those people. I love seeing people come up because I know it's not overnight. No matter who it is. I mean, even if you're born into it, you still got to work your way up in Hollywood, I feel like.
Most of
So for the moment, yeah, most of the time,
the time.
yeah,
Most of
yeah,
the
we're not going to get into 90210 or anything like that, but awesome. So obviously this is a great segue to get into The Last of Us. For those of you that may not know, is based on one of the greatest video game series of all time. I mean, there's only two right now. Who knows where it can go after? I haven't played the second one yet, but PlayStation exclusive. So, Jordan, like
Yep.
I said, this is your episode on the video game, so take us to the promised land.
Well, I guess we can just like in the vein of The Last of Us, just talk about some favorite, maybe like horror games,
Hmm.
or any kind of, you know, story games like The Last of Us, horror games, action adventure type stuff like The Last of Us.
Okay. Okay. You
And
want
so
me to
my
start?
yeah, you start because I'm still kind of thinking about mine.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I know you mentioned like horror slash action strategy games and then favorite video games and then like
Yeah.
overall console that got you into it. So um a lot of these, at least for mine, for my top three, and these are horror slash, I don't want to say slasher games because the first one is not really horror, it's stealth, which I
Okay, that
feel
counts.
that
That
this
counts.
game, and yeah, it counts because I mean it is a terrifying game. It really is, and I would love for them to remake this for the PlayStation 5. So I've talked about this. This episode's been, or this podcast's been around for 6 years now. I've probably brought up Manhunt at least a dozen
Mm.
times. Manhunt on the PlayStation 2, narrated by the one and only Brian Cox, from Succession, from Super Troopers. I think he's on the McDonald's commercials now. But great voice. So pretty much you are this character. It's almost like the Running Man movie where you have a chance to survive, but you have to make it. So it's like the Running Man meets the Warriors. So you're this prisoner, and then you get let out, and you have to make it through all these different areas. But I feel like like the way that this game takes place is where all of the Assassin's Creeds got their inspiration from. Because to me, I feel like this is the
Mm.
very, very first kind of stealth game where you had to be incredibly, incredibly quiet, sneaky. You got to hide in bushes, and you have to murder people to get by. And you start off with basic weapons. You start off with a plastic bag to suffocate people, then a knife,
Well,
then eventually you get guns, but you have to be careful where you use the guns because if
right,
you use the guns, it attracts more noise. And then the more and more you go, the closer you get to Brian Cox's character. And I don't want to ruin it for you. They came out with a part two, and it could not live up to the first one, which is why I believe they should never make a Warriors part two. But yeah, it's very much the Running Man meets the Warriors. But let's just say A24 and Bloomhouse directed it together. So super, super
whoa,
gory, great storyline, some very vicious kills and attacks on it. And it's one of those games where I was, you were just a baby when this came out. So, I was 21, 22, and I had to have like a little night light on or something. I didn't want to play this in the dark. So that was really that's my number one, and then my number two and three, and it's hard for me to go back and forth, so I literally just made them both kind of number two. I got to say the original Resident Evil and Resident Evil Part Two. It
Yeah.
was just groundbreaking horror video games at the time. Where at the time, where during that period, the only thing we really had comparable to that were first-person shooters like Doom, where you're literally in hell shooting
Yeah.
against like the legions of evil. Where this was required strategy. It wasn't just mowing down zombies and beasts. You had to solve puzzles and clues. And then once you get to Resident Evil 2, it really stepped it up where the first one is almost more of an RPG, where the second
Okay.
one it's definitely less RPG, more on the survival and how to get out of Raccoon City. So in terms of horror slash, and I mean really Manhunt is a slasher game in my opinion. It's not even a stealth game. Those are my top three.
Okay. Yeah, those are. I haven't seen Manhunt before. I'll have to check that out because it sounds fun. I love Assassin's Creed. I'm going to talk about Assassin's Creed at some point. So, um, and I like watching Resident Evil, but a thing about me is The Last of Us is like an exception as far as video games go to horror games. I love horror as a genre. Used to
Yeah.
hate it as a child, like hated even watching Ghost Adventures, like scared the crap out of me. But now
Mhm.
I love it. Especially like movies and TV. But with games, I cannot play horror games. Like I played The Last of Us 1 and 2. I don't know how, just because they're so good. Like, but there was many times I did not enjoy it. Like the anxiety horror games
Anxiety.
gives me
Yeah.
is is
Yeah,
terrible.
you get the
Emotional, damn.
Yeah. And it's just because I'm playing it, but I can watch somebody else play it, and I have a great time watching. I
Mhm.
love to watch people play Resident Evil or like any kind of stuff like that. Like when I was a kid, I even used to like watching PewDiePie play like Amnesia, and like
Mhm.
there was this one game he played where you play like the devil's son and his little tricycle and like go around the house murdering the family.
Oh wow.
Um, I used to watch the games all the time. That's fine, but yeah. So it's a good list. I would watch people play those, but I don't know if I could play it
I'm a big
myself.
fan of doing that. Big shout out to our boy Jordan Brown. Used to go over to his place and watch him play all the new Resident Evils and all kinds of
Yeah.
games. So yeah, yeah, definitely.
But all right, so top three. Um, I mean, I don't have a top three that's like specifically horror.
Mm,
Um, but I love The Last of Us 2 is my like one of my favorite games. It's in my
sure.
top three generally, and obviously, so that means it's like my favorite horror game. And I love Until Dawn. That was another game I managed to play somehow. Lots of jump scare crap and like just like there's Wendigos and there's like uh well, I was gonna say clown killer, but you get to kind of pick the mask that the killer wears because
Okay.
it's a butterfly effect game. So the choices you make affect the rest of the story. And
Right.
so there's like a psychologist throughout the whole game who, in certain points of the game, is like interviewing you, and you don't know who you are. Like you don't know who he's interviewing, so you don't know which character you are because there's like 6 or 7 people in the house.
Mhm.
Um, And so he asks, like, what are your biggest fears? And then I'll show you like 4 pictures, and it's like clowns, spiders, blah, 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 blah. And you pick. And so the killer's like based off whatever you pick. And the whole game is kind of like that. Like, even when you're like running through the woods, like jumping over stuff, running from a Wendigo, like you have to hit X at the right time, hit square, hit circle at the right time. Because if you miss, then your foot slips
Right.
off the mountain and you die. Like, or something else happens. And so the goal of that game is to get everybody in the house out alive, stay alive until dawn. And it's really hard to keep everybody in the house alive because that means you're not making any mistakes throughout the whole game. And
So
so I
it's like
don't
your
remember,
typical horror movie.
yeah, like I don't remember how many I got out with. It definitely wasn't all of them. It might have been 3 or 4 people left, but I definitely killed some people off by accident. But it's a really fun game, and they're making that into a show
Okay.
as well currently, which should be good. But I'll say my top three games just generally. Um, The Last of Us 2 is one. I don't need to talk about that anymore, really. Just a great, great game. Great story. Um, like gorgeous. Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is my another one of my top three favorite games. I love Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is definitely like an honorable mention for me.
I remember
Um,
getting you that.
yeah, they're just so fun. I just love that kind of game. Like I guess it is an RPG game where you collect resources, you
Yeah,
have
but
to
you
be
still got to do
stealthy,
a
kill
lot, though.
certain
It's definitely,
people.
yeah, I mean, you got to
Yeah,
do
I mean
more in
there's a
that game than a
story.
regular RPG.
There's a
Yeah.
story, but yeah, you got to do, kind of build up your village at the same time while you're going through like the campaign of the story. And I just like it's a really pretty world as well, like on all the different like biomes and locations. It's just, and I like history too, so it's cool.
Yeah.
They always have a very historical element.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a good game, and I just had so much fun playing Valhalla, and that's really why it's in the top three. My friend Leah and I, that was just like one of my best college memories. It's just we'd play that constantly, like constantly playing. And
Hmm.
the Assassin's Creed games have infinite amount of side quests, so there's always something to do. Like you could do other than the main like storyline. There's so much stuff you could do. So we just goof around doing all that. And then number three is just like a right now thing. I don't know how long it will last, but it's
Okay.
Overwatch. That's kind of
Okay.
cringy. I know it's
No, it's not
cringy.
cringy.
But it's just like the only game I want to play right now.
All
It's
right.
just a shooter game, like all these different heroes, and I like it because you have to learn every hero or every healer or every tank. Like you have to learn because each character does different things. Like they're
Yeah.
not just all shooting guns. There's like all kinds of stuff going on. So
Yeah.
it's a very overwhelming game to play for your first time because the sounds and like the different heroes all have way different powers and stuff. It's a lot to like get committed to, but once you are committed, it's like you're addicted. And so I'm addicted to that.
Okay.
Um so I love Overwatch right now. It's just fun. So those are my top three right now.
Hey,
Valhalla,
as
Last of
long
Us
as
2,
as long as you're
Overwatch.
having fun, as long as you're having fun.
It
If I
makes me
if I were to
rage really
do,
bad too though.
oh yeah, I mean,
It's
most games you love do.
I'll just say this. I bought a $10 USB keyboard off of Amazon just so I can trash talk to the other people on the game. I plugged it into my PlayStation just because you would not believe the way people behave on this game.
I mean, I'm
So,
sure it's like
but
most
I'm in it
online
now.
games. There
I'm
you
just in
go.
it.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, as far as right now, I am a huge fan, and so is Ashley. And I mean, you've played them too. I think the Spider-Man games on the PlayStation 4 and
Oh yeah.
especially PlayStation 5 are outstanding. The storyline's great. I mean, these things by themselves could be standalone MCU movies. The way they incorporate Kraven the Hunter, Rhino, and just, I mean, being able to incorporate Miles Morales and then Venom and everything else too. So as far as right now, those are games that I really enjoy and love to play, and I can just kind of pick up. You can just kind of
Yeah,
same thing. You can go on your main missions, you can go on your side quests.
right.
Sometimes you have other side quests that are way too hard because you haven't powered up enough. So, but it's
Yeah.
still cool to be able to just sling around New York City too, and be able
Yeah.
to just kind of like compare some locations to the historic locations. Because sometimes that's all I want to do is kind of swing around New
Right.
York, maybe just
That's how
prevent
I
like
feel
some lady
about
getting
like
mugged.
that's how I feel about Assassin's Creed because you can just like parkour
Yeah.
like off the building
Right.
the whole time if you
Right.
want and just go around doing just dumb stuff. And it's
Parkour. Parkour.
yeah,
You have to put that clip in there.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, same thing, and that's why I really like Spider-Man too, because you can do the main missions, but you can do side missions all day long.
yeah.
And the graphics are great. Like I said, the story's great. It's just
It's a
phenomenal.
fun game.
Super, super fun. In terms of, I guess, three of my favorite all-time games. Now, I couldn't narrow it to three. I narrowed it to like five that made me feel something. And I'll just kind
Okay.
of go by quick. Besides, and I came up, Nintendo. Like I played Atari because it was my dad's original Atari, and I came up Nintendo and everything else. But I'm going off of just kind of like young adult to adult ish games that just sucked me in, and I was there. First and foremost, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, when that came out,
Mm.
I would leave my job, and I had the best job on the planet for an 18-year-old, 18 and 19-year-old. I worked at a record store, a CD store, music store. So on my lunch breaks, I would go home, play Tony Hawk for as long as I could, and go back to work, and then go back home after work and
Oh
play
my
Tony Hawk
God.
all day long. The soundtrack was great. I've always enjoyed skateboarding. I was never great at it. So it was just awesome to be able to do that. And then honorable mention, SSX Tricky is what got me into snowboarding. Super, super fun game. This game came out right around the same time you were born. Again, two PlayStation 2 classics. So we'll go from there. Then I got to go. So I did kind of break this down. So I do have like my top three, and then I'll go into the other two. So then I got to go Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It's pretty much Scarface, the video game. It takes place in Miami.
Yeah.
One of the final scenes pretty much takes place in Tony's mansion. But, following off of Grand Theft Auto 3, which was just a landmark game for the PlayStation 2. I mean, this was, I think, the first time to where we legit had like a super rated R video game. I mean, you're going around
Sure, yeah.
the first two Grand Theft Autos, it was just an above cam shot of just kind of cars going everywhere, and you're committing
Yeah.
crimes, but you're not seeing stuff. So this is the first time where you're like seeing a player get out of a car, make robberies, drive people around, kill people.
Run over pedestrians.
Yep, have
Go
an
to the strip club.
extracurricular. Yep, go to the strip club. Take a lady of the night to the side street. Let's just say.
Yeah.
So going from that and then going back to the '80s, and I'll never forget it. It's still one of my favorite commercials with Flock of Seagulls. I ran so far away, and it was the Grand Theft Auto Vice City theme, and it just had just those Tony Montana, '80s vibes. So there's that one, and then this one is really a tie for third. So like I said, I really had five, but I'm going to explain a little bit here in a minute. So tied for third, I'm a big fan of just like action games in general, to where I don't have to solve anything. It's more just like you're collecting weapons, you're building up, you're learning stuff.
Yeah.
You have to defend. And two of my favorites, again, PlayStation 2 classics, God of War, the original God of War, and Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry was super, super unique. You play this hero named Dante. You have these two awesome guns and this big ass sword. And it has a lot of Final Fantasy vibes, but it's not a role playing game. So, and of course, God of War, I'm a big fan of just Greek mythology and mythology in general. So it was just great to just kind of see Ares and all that stuff going up against Kratos. And then, of course, the series after that was great. Then now you have God of War now on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and they're just absolutely tremendous visuals. The storyline's great. It's fantastic. Now, as far as I know, one of your questions was what console made me. So, what console made me the gamer that I am today? I will definitely say it was the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 1 was great. Don't get me wrong, but the PlayStation 2, I feel just at that point, you had a lot more video game companies coming out, a lot more product, and they were pushing boundaries where your Segas weren't, your Nintendos weren't. Sony was like, we don't care. Bring it on. If it's rated R, we'll slap a parental advisory sticker on it or put, mature sticker on it. Like, I feel like they were really one of the first ones, and I could be wrong, that had mature stickers on or mature labels on their video games, because they weren't just, just Nintendo, just this. And
I'm sure Xbox did too, just because Call of Duty's just always been like cross-platform, right?
it was, but again, PlayStation 2, I mean, the original Xbox, let's be honest, the main thing they had going for them was Halo. And that's the main thing. Like, that's their only exclusive that's worth a damn, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare PlayStation exclusives to Xbox exclusives, it's
Oh
not
yeah.
even close.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
not
it's
at
literally
all.
like Halo, and then you're going like Spider-Man, You
The
know,
Last of Us.
Last of Us. I think God of War is even a
I'm pretty
PlayStation
sure
exclusive.
God of War.
You know what I mean? Just those three alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean there's more down there, but I will say the game that made me an online player is the first, not the first Call of Duty, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Xbox
Or
360.
no, the first Modern Warfare?
The first Modern Warfare, the first one
Oh.
that came out. So big shout outs to my buddy Mark Powers. I played it at his place. It was a UFC night, and at that point I only had a PlayStation 2. I didn't have an original Xbox. I played it at like friends' places, and I was like, I don't like the controller. It's too big. I don't like Halo. And then they were playing Modern Warfare, and I was like, this is amazing. And literally the next day, I went out to Best Buy, got an Xbox 360, Modern Warfare, everything for me to like get online. And that was the one game where I was on there. I was online after work, being a bartender, before work, being a bartender. I was playing online and trying to get ranked up over and over
Yeah.
again. So the Xbox 360 and Call of Duty made me an online gamer.
Okay. Wow, those are good answers. I'd say a console that made me as a gamer. I'd have to say Xbox 360, just because I did not have I didn't have PlayStation until I don't know, maybe I was 17-ish,
Yeah,
17,
you had the
18.
three.
Yeah. No, no, I didn't have anything before the PS4.
Oh, crap.
Mm-mm. So I just had the 360,
Well, just
but I
whatever.
loved it. I loved the 360 when I had it. I
Mhm.
played. I remember there was a game called Fable 3. It's like a role RPG kind of game, like you're a
Mhm.
knight or something. Like I don't know. And Borderlands 3, I'd play. Great game. Um, and Modern Warfare 2 was a game that I'm sure I wasn't playing really online then, but because I was younger, I was like probably
Mhm.
13, whatever.
Yeah,
But
would have let you.
I really liked, like, that was like one of the first games I really liked was Modern Warfare 2, and I like played the whole campaign through. That was probably the first game
Mhm.
I did that with. So I always I always go back to I love that game. Um,
Their campaigns are the best. Like, I may get annoyed playing online now, and I know I'm sounding like
oh
an old timer,
no,
but the
it's
campaigns are
terrible.
great.
Online is
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
now.
it was different then. It's a lot different now, and thank
This
God
is
that they
people's
make great
careers now.
campaigns. Yeah,
People have a
yeah,
career being sweaty on online games.
yep. I was born a
It's
decade too late, but
treacherous.
then I wouldn't have had you. So, I was born at the right time, but I was definitely born a
You don't
decade
want to
too
be
late.
you don't want to be born in this era of online gaming is one of the most enraging things to experience as a gamer right now. The That's like a whole other episode I could talk about.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I have to say the Xbox 360. I used to play that Tony Hawk game too, but that had the board that came with
I
it.
remember. Yeah, Ride,
There was that
Tony Hawk
game.
Ride.
That
Mhm.
was fun. Guitar Hero. I
Yeah,
think that
Rock
was
Band.
on. We had that for the
Mhm.
Wii. The Wii is another one that's an
The
honorable
Wii is
mention.
definitely an honorable mention. I mean
Yeah, I
that
mean
shit
that
was
is my childhood.
revolutionary. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and I
my
mean it's still
childhood.
revolutionary.
That's all my friends' childhood who are
Hmm.
gamers, or like that's every family's or just any people my age. That probably was their childhood if their family
Yeah,
was into like games.
yeah.
Because I mean they had Wii Sports Resort, Mario Super Sluggers, Mario Tennis, like just every Super Mario Galaxy Party, or
Oh
uh
yeah,
there was Super Mario
everything.
Galaxy, and then there was
Yep.
Mario Party.
Then
And
the
so it was
golf
just
games. Yeah, the sports games were great.
bowling, like it was just it's still the most fun time. Like I don't really understand why they're like not making them anymore, because they're so much fun. They have something that like still these
Yeah,
other consoles don't have.
yeah.
Like
I
even the
agree.
Xbox 360 Connect, which was another part of my childhood, very fun.
Mhm.
Fruit Ninja
Root
and
Ninja.
that like their version of Wii Sports Resort. Don't remember
Yeah,
what it's called.
yeah,
But that got discontinued because like it just there was like that was all people were playing were those two games.
yeah. It was just
But
Fruit Ninja. We played it constantly.
Yeah, the Wii though, I mean, I I had mine out when B was here last time, and we went to a comic book store here who has called Player's Choice, and they have like Wii games and stuff. And she bought Littlest Pet Shop or something because that was her jam
Yeah,
when she was little. But I bought Modern Warfare 2 for the Wii. Terrible choice. That's probably the one game you should never get for the Wii.
I'm
I
sure.
bought like the $13. They had like a gun attached to it.
Yeah, yeah.
The most difficult thing I've experienced in a long time as far as video
I have
games
House of
goes.
the Dead for
It's
the Wii, and
impossible.
it's not great.
It's impossible to play a shooter game on the
Yeah.
Wii. Like, oh, and it looked, I should have taken a video of how it looked too. It looked terrible, but the Wii is awesome, and I will never get rid of my Wii ever.
Yeah. And
It's
honestly, it's
so
gonna be
much
one of
fun.
those things to where it's gonna be worth a fortune. And I mean, I still have
Probably, yeah.
ours. I just got to get new remotes because the remotes are, for some reason, batteries when they stay in the Wii remotes compared to other remote controls, like they will melt. So,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure too, it's probably been in, even though it's not in the attic anymore, the Wii has been in a few attics since
Yeah.
you and I do remember one video where I think it was AJ taking it behind us, and you were like maybe 12 or 13, and we were playing Fruit Ninja on the Wii Connect. And yeah, you're right,
Oh
that was
yeah,
like the
yeah.
only good game on the Wii Connect. The
That was the
rest of them
Xbox
were
360
suspect.
Connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the Wii could be a whole episode too. It's
Oh
very
yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
just
Yeah,
Wii
we don't want to
Sports.
give it all away.
All you need is Wii Sports. That's it, and then you
So,
have fun for hours
and I mean,
still.
don't get me wrong, it was cool to play Mario Kart for the first time
Oh
on the
yeah,
steering
Mario
wheel.
Kart.
Yeah, come on.
Even
Yeah.
that.
Can't
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
that because that was the first time you're literally like, oh my gosh, I'm driving.
yeah. And the
So,
Switch has that, has that too, and they have their own kind of sports thing as
mhm.
well, but it's not the same.
No,
It's not the same.
no, we was definitely revolutionary. That's for sure, and
Yeah.
it was great. It was family friendly, and yeah, it was fantastic. Excellent.
Um,
Anything else?
I- well, I came up with two other questions.
Okay.
Um, what horror movie would you like to see turned into a video game?
Ooh.
I have two,
Can you
both
ask me that
odd.
again? Because I feel like I burped in the middle of your question.
What 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 horror movie would you want to what horror movie would you want to see as a video game? What would you want to play
Oh,
if you could?
so that is a great question. Man, I would like to see Scream. And, even though that, like, I think that his character is in, what is it, Dead by Midnight? Well, what's the one
Dead by
again?
Daylight.
Dead by
Dead by
Daylight. I think
Daylight.
you can go against that. But I think in general, if you would especially go off of like the first couple movies, something like that. I mean, they've tried it with Friday the 13th, and again, they do the same thing with Dead by Daylight. They'll throw in the Jason version of it. They've never really
Yeah.
had a great Friday the 13th game. But yeah, I would probably there's not one, usually the question is obviously, games that turn into
Right.
movies, and a lot of them are not fantastic. I will say this, there is a movie that it's a cult classic and it gets love. It's called Event Horizon. And I feel like this is very similar to Dead Space. And it may be where Dead Space actually got their inspiration from. But it's about a spaceship that this crew finds, and they don't realize that this ship actually went to hell and came back. So a
Ooh.
lot of stuff goes on. This came out in, I think, late 90s. It's got the guy from Jurassic Park in it. Sam, can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those cult classics. I'll see it on Facebook groups every now and again. To see that as a game would be pretty interesting. But like I said, I feel like Dead Space definitely went with that as their basis. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably say just kind of Scream. Just in terms of not just fan favorites, but I think that you could do something with that in terms of the entire town, right? Like making it almost kind of like a Grand Theft Auto where you're trying to escape Ghostface, but also trying to protect your friends at the same time. So
Yeah.
almost like Dead by Dawn, but make
Dead
it
by
in a
Daylight. Yeah.
more or Dead or but what's the other one? Until Dawn.
Oh, Until Dawn.
So
Okay,
almost
yeah.
like Until Dawn, but more in like a town where Until Dawn takes place in like a cabin
Uh,
out in a snowstorm,
a
right?
big house in the middle of like
Right.
Appalachia or something. I don't know.
Right. Where this is more kind of like realistic, where, and I'd love to see eventually a Halloween game done right with Michael Myers, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, right at this point now, they're happy putting in these characters as like extra characters in Mortal Kombat's, but
Yeah.
maybe
I was gonna
maybe they'll
say
get their
Michael
own
Myers
game.
is on COD right now
Right.
in the
Right.
war
So
zone,
yeah,
and the
they're
Trick or
extra
Treat Kid
skins. Exactly.
and Terrifier are all on
Oh Lord,
Warzone
yeah. Well,
right now.
Terrifier 3 is coming out soon, so
Um,
yeah,
mine
yeah.
mine would be really like this would be a for real horror weird game. It would
Mhm.
be Midsommar.
I knew you were going to say that.
It would be so good. I mean, it would probably be like a butterfly effect game. In my mind, if I'm making this game, then it would be a butterfly effect game where like everything you do warrants a different effect
100%.
in the game. Because that's kind of how the movie kind of that just makes sense. If you've seen the movie, that probably makes sense to you
It's a
too.
butterfly effect RPG.
Yeah.
1000%.
That would just be a good like skin crawling. You like one of the games that I probably couldn't play, but I want to watch other people play.
Uh-huh.
I think it could be really interesting and you know that definitely a M for mature type thing going on.
Wouldn't have it any other
Um,
way.
I think that would be a great game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I figured I was like, it's going to be some A24 film. I know it. Here it comes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that
mean,
would definitely have to be an RPG.
I thought about saying It Follows, but I was like, it would just be like a jump scare game, probably. I couldn't think of anything too creative for it.
Yeah, it would. It would be almost kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's, where it's just like you're looking at cameras trying to see and all these
Right.
different views and and those games are fun and they serve their purpose, but it's all
Yeah.
jump scares. So what was your other
Um,
question?
just like, are you playing anything right now?
So yeah, Ashley and I we're still trying to beat It Takes Two. So
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, you literally have to play this with another player. This game can contest your relationship. I can I can promise you that. Because you're there and it's split screen and you have to team up and do a lot of stuff. And we finally beat this one boss that's like this mechanical hornet, and this thing was, oh my gosh, it was never ending. So just make sure you're and I mean, we're happy. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, a kid. But if your relationship's teetering, you may not want to play this
Yeah.
game. I can tell you that right now. So, we're about to finish that up. I feel like we're right there at the end. And then I'm still playing catch up. As I mentioned, I can't wait to start The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm about to wrap up Spider-Man, getting ready to go to Spider-Man 2. So I'm behind. And I'm not gonna lie, I play these games in easy mode. I don't have time or the patience
Right.
anymore to even do medium or hard. I was doing hard when I was like 21, 22. Then I was like upgrading to like downgrading to medium. Now I'm like, I just want to enjoy the storyline and do like a little bit of ass kicking, but I'm not trying to be like two shots and I'm down.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where my 44-year-old ass is at.
Okay. I'm just playing. I mean, like I'm just like really into Overwatch right now, unfortunately. Like heavy on the unfortunately. But uh there's so many games I want to play and I have saved, most of them story games, and I'm just really bad at finishing them though. Just because I don't know. And not because they're not good, I just like jump around too much.
Mm,
But I really want to play the Red Dead Redemption 2 campaign. I heard it's gutting
mm.
and I have not ever heard a single bad thing about that game. I played some online with my friends. It's really fun. It's like GTA but on horses.
Yep.
Um, but I want to play that campaign. It's really long though. Hogwarts Legacy I want to finish because they're developing a second one. I know it's going to be a while, but I want to finish Hogwarts Legacy. And then they just released Quidditch, like a different game, like a separate game where you play
Oh,
Quidditch. And it's hard. Like there's a lot going on in Quidditch, but it's fun.
yeah, I
It
can play
gets
that on the Wii.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. That would be funny. That would be a
Like
funny
you're
weekend.
like you have to have two remotes. One's the
Yeah.
broomstick, and the other one is your arm.
No, the Wii remote would be the broomstick, and the nunchuck would be like, I
Right.
don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about the
Um,
nunchuck.
or vice versa
Oh
or something.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I'll have
those
to
are the
check that
three
out.
I'm I'm either planning to play or finish or all that. That's it.
Okay.
I want to shout out my gaming group though, which is my
Yeah.
friends Juan, Leah, and my girlfriend B. I play games with them a lot, and so I asked them to tell me what their, favorite games were.
Hmm.
And Juan, he's like the gaming aficionado, like anything games, like
Okay.
he will know anything. Maybe not past a certain time period,
Sure.
but maybe that too. Like he just knows everything about games because he's played every single game. So
Mhm.
his favorites are The Last of Us and God of War.
Nice.
So that's coming from like a guy who's played a guy who's played all the games. So if you want
Mhm.
to get into gaming, maybe what should you play? The Last of Us or God of War. Um, and then Leah's favorites were Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
I watched her play some of that game. It's gorgeous,
It's a
gorgeous
great
game.
looking game.
They're coming out with the second one,
Yep.
so um, Ghost of Tsushima, and she likes Baldur's Gate 3, which is like the Dungeons and Dragons game, but for PlayStation. I really want to
Okay.
play it. Bees are The Last of Us and Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing too. So the duality of girls, Animal
Yeah.
Crossing, The Last of Us.
Yep.
I'm the same. Animal
Death
Crossing's great.
and pets.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that.
So
Love that. This will be a good clip for the shout outs there.
yeah.
I gotta say, there was one thing I thought about. If there was a comic book turned into a video game, something is killing the children. Can't wait for the Netflix show. They better not
Ooh,
mess this up. Better not
mine would
mess this up.
be mine would be Blade Runner. I mean,
Okay.
I guess that would be Cyberpunk. It would be very similar to Cyberpunk,
Very,
probably.
very similar to Cyberpunk. I figured you would have said, what's the one you like? Fable?
Ghost in the Shell. Fable.
Oh, no, no. I was thinking, is it Fable? No, not
Oh,
Fable.
Bone. Bone was what I really liked as a
Bone.
kid.
And then what's the one where, oh man, I can't think. It'll come to me. But yeah, Bone. That one would
Yeah,
be good.
that'd be a good like kids game,
Yeah, yeah.
fantasy game. I would
Excellent.
play that.
Good job. Good job hosting. Love it, love it, love it. Hold on 1 second here. Yep.
Oh.
There it is. I'm gonna get it right. There we go.
Eh.
There we go. I know I gotta get rid of the buzzer. Because I'm like, I'm never gonna use it. So I mean I've used it a couple times, but again, there you go. You get the claps and all that stuff.
Yay.
Thank you so much for hosting, Jordan. Hang out with me for just a little bit. Again, big shout outs to our sponsors out there. Sailfish Comics, 3 locations in North Carolina, Winston-Salem, Concord, and of course, Greensboro. And don't forget to also check out Golden Ticket Cinemas in Brassfield Shopping Center, the former Brassfield Cinemas, for all your moving going needs. And come on the website, popculturepodcast.com. Be sure to check out our event page. We have multiple movie nights, or not just movie nights, trivia nights and music bingos. And again, we're starting this Thursday in Whitset with our good friends over at Red Oak, starting at 6:30. So, on behalf of Jordan and myself and everyone from Zero Dark Nerdy, thank you so much for your love and support. And we'll see you next time. Peace. All right. Give me 1 second to stop the live stream.